Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, we are talking about why shorts need money, the AMC investors, short sales hidden, and many more in this video. First, we're taking a look at this. So from my notes, in spring 2021, Citadel sold 600 million bonds. In late 2021, Citadel sold 1.5 billion of the company to Sequoia. In late 2021, Citadel limited investors' withdrawal to 6.25% per quarter. In August 2022, Citadel borrowed 600 million. March 2023, Citadel filing to offer another 600 million bonds. And again, this is going off of what we talked about yesterday with the latest $500 million worth of bonds. And essentially what we're looking at is for a company that is boasting how much money they're making, that's very confident in their financials, that's obviously supposed to be making a lot of money, we are always seeing them in need of money and or limiting how much money is being taken out. You can firstly see here how Citadel limited their investors' withdrawal to 6.25%. Now that's obviously because they're worried about their margin requirements, they're worried about liquidity being pulled out. When you do these things, you're expecting multiple different reasonings. One of the first things is that you're expecting people to be pulling money out of your firm. And why would they do that? Well, obviously because they're not confident, because they're worried about your positions, they're worried about something else, and so that's why they did it. Another thing is because you are afraid that if these money were to get pulled out, you won't have the money to maintain your positions, which is what they're doing, is how they're able to keep their positions alive, because they do have billions of dollars, but they're just not actually making, billions of dollars of profit. And that's what we're seeing here. Now, some other things that's not mentioned in here and I want to talk about is we saw how they renewed their credit. We saw how they took loans in both US and Europe. So there is multiple different factors which have been showing us that Citadel is in need of money. Well, why would they, if they're doing so well? Well, the only reason for this is because they're obviously in bad positions, like we talked about with the AMC and GME swaps that we've said in the past. One of the things you have to look out for is, while some of us have been here for 4 years, AA had to keep AMC alive through lockdowns 5 years ago and the entire difficult journey since. Now, debt is close to 500 million lower than 2019, while Citadel has taken on a new round of 500 million debt. Shields can never acknowledge the man that kept us off the rocks of disaster all this time when they tried to convince you he's bad. Now, you can see, and this is the difference, and I want to compare this not just with Citadel, but with Virtue as well. So when you take a look at some of the firms that's been shorting AMC, so in this case, Citadel and Virtue, what you will see is actually the fundamentals have been the complete opposite. What we've seen throughout the last 5 years is AMC's fundamentals went from bad because of lockdown to good where we are right now. We've seen them actually increase their revenue. We've seen them trying to cut down their operational costs. We've seen them trying to increase their profit. And more importantly, we've seen them cutting down their debt. When you take a look at some of the other firms, and now first we're going to talk about Virtue, what you'll see with Virtue is actually their financials has only gone down. We've seen a cut in their revenue, we've seen a cut in their profit, and we're actually seeing an increase in their overall debt. So you can see how it's the opposite from that. And obviously with Citadel as well, whilst we have actually seen that Citadel is supposedly making more and more money, we're seeing how they're trying to obviously take out more money, how they're trying to borrow more money, and so that isn't a good reflection of the so well profit that they're apparently posting for themselves. And so this is the difference between AMC and the short sellers of AMC, and you can see how we're going down different paths, and it does seem to look like shorts are actually the one who's struggling and not AMC. Another thing to be looking at here, and I think this is very, very interesting revisit. Apparently, the company knew some things that was beyond their control, that they were limited in their ability to discuss publicly. So if you take a look at here, you can see our shares of Class A common stocks have been and may continue to be subject to wild fluctuations in response to numerous factors, many of which are beyond our control. Now, when is this case? We're obviously talking about the manipulation, because AMC can't have a say when people are making tokens of AMC. They can't have a say when we're seeing all these offshore shorts of AMC. They can't have a say when they're constantly spoofing, when they're not settling the FTDs, and of course many more that's obviously out there as well. And so this is what we've said, and we've seen how Adamaran in the past has also come out and said that he can't talk about certain factors. But what we have seeing, and I think it is just their way of trying to show us that they do see it, that they are trying to tackle it, is obviously with some of the managements that they've done in the past, with some of the decisions they've made in the past. But ultimately, you know, this is a small company going up. We're talking about in relative, is a small company going up against companies that have put in tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars into this. And that's obviously what we have to fight. The very fact that AMC is still alive and running, I think is already a very, very good thing. But of course, there are factors as manipulating and suppressing AMC. And so this is what we said in terms of, whilst AMC may make decisions that whilst look good and potentially not as effective as we thought, you have to understand that they have always been making good decisions. They've always made a decision with in mind to obviously help AMC. Whether it's good or bad after the decision's out, obviously that's something that we can never anticipate, but we do know that behind every single business decision that they've made is with the mindset of, I want to do good for AMC. But obviously there are some results that we just can't control, and this is what we've seen, with obviously many of which are beyond our control. But also take a look at this, and I think this is a very clear, and this is why I'm confident in AMC, because of the investor base. One of the things that we have always seen is how media is always trying to get people to sell their AMC shares, but we have seen that it's never been working. Because when you take a look at this right now, and I think this should be giving you a very good indications of just truly how big the reach of AMC is and why shorts are panicking. You guys can see here, according to public data from key brokers in Sweden, there are only 4.2 times as many Swedish shareholders in giant Nvidia as in AMC. While the market cap ratio is 2,192, below a few more companies, hints a pretty massive worldwide AMC shareholder penetration. Now, this is only in Sweden, but I think it's a very good indication of pretty much worldwide. And I think that the ratio may even be lower in the US. But of course, I would love to see what it actually is. What you can see here is the market cap of AMC. Now, Nvidia is 2,192 times bigger than AMC, but the number of shareholders is only 4.2 times bigger. You can even also see for Meta is 987 times bigger, but yet it's only 1.06. And if there are still some other style out there that's bigger, not like Netflix, for example, at 205 times AMC, but it's actually just less than a half. And so what we can see is obviously how big the reach AMC is. And it's why I'm confident, because I understand that there are multiple investors in AMC. Everyone is confident, everyone's willing to buy into AMC. And if we're able to get AMC at this current market cap, and I think this is the biggest indication, is that if we're able to already have such a big investor base of AMC at its current market cap, just imagine what will happen when AMC goes up. There will be people who's obviously sitting on the sidelines and they are waiting for AMC to go up. There will also be people who are going to be FOMOing in. And so you can see that the potential for how much AMC can still grow is obviously a lot bigger, and that's exactly what I'm interested about. That's what I'm waiting on, and it's why I'm confident in AMC. Furthermore, the recent drop in AMC is clearly an overreaction, no negative news, and the current price doesn't reflect the true value of the company. And you can see I'm buying now, deeply undervalued and ready for the next surge. This pretty much goes on to what we talked about here, but it's how everyone views AMC, and it's why we're only going to get an even bigger investor base for AMC, because everyone, whilst the shorts may think that by bringing the price down, they're going to be scaring people off, it's actually encouraging people to actually buy more of AMC. As always, none of this is financial advice, so do take us here. So much to do own due diligence and research. But you guys can see it. Turns out from 2019 to 2023, the Hood of Thieves mislabeled 15 million short sales as long positions. And so February 2021 alone, 4 million bad trades during the GameStop and AMC rally. Locate requirements skipped, SEC rules ignored, fixes half-baked until 2023. And so this is what we said. The squeeze was stolen for us. And because of the fact that they were willing to get away with this, Robinhood was obviously favorited back in the days. Before this whole incident came up, whilst there were obviously potentially some negative news about Robinhood is favorited by a lot of retail investors. But what they did during a time when it was actually supposed to help retail investors was that they took the actions to screw the retail investors over. We saw how the buy button was taken away. away. But even here, we were seeing how bad trades were happening. We're seeing how mislabeled positions, shorts as longs. We saw how the locate requirement was skipped, and is what they did to try to steal the squeeze away. And is why I've always said, when you take a look at the short ratio, take it with a grain of salt, because if they're able to mislabel short sales as long positions, just think about all these other companies, and let alone the brokers, but what even the institutions are willing to do. And guys, thanks for watching the video. I'll catch you guys next time.